So this is the last step before we move inside on the passenger side. We got some Wrap Fresh decal and wrap cleaner and protectant for a matte finish, which is what this car is. The roof is glossy, the sides, the green is matte. So we're going to apply that to the rear quarter, the doors, and the front fender. Bagels, do you approve? Bagels approves. She said it looks very nice. So there you have it. Passenger side, outside, bumper to bumper other than the roof and trunk lid is all done. Next, we got to do the inside. Door panels, seats, carpet, dash, headliner. We'll clean the passenger side inside. Super small garage. So after we get this done, we'll spin it around and do the other side. Also, when you clean the car, you got to keep all your towels separate, so you will end up using a ton. You just throw them in the wash and they're good to go. So now that this is done for the day, time and Jill's up. She just got home from work. We're gonna have her check it out and see what she thinks of this side of the car.
Okay.
Her first reaction of this side. Let her touch it.
Just the passenger side?
Just the passenger side, fenders, quarters, windows. But how's it feel?
Oh, it's smooth.
Now touch the hood. How's the hood feel?
You didn't do the hood?
No.
It's kind of just scratchy. Feels like a sticker.
So it did okay.
Rough.
Made a big difference?
Oh my gosh, like 30% smoother.
Good.
That's amazing.
Your chromes look good. Your wheels look good.
Yeah. It's got a nice deep look to it now.
Perfect.
I love it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's what Bagels was looking for.
Okay. Well, she did a good job.
Okay, it's Friday evening. So while the rest of you are watching the State of the Union, me and Mike were out here entertaining ourselves with Axlegate. I've bought a lot of half-ass cars in my time, but I've never seen anything like this. So, our Falcon is a 63 V8 car. The differential is 56 inches long. Wide, rather. 56 inches wide. The axles, we believe, after measuring them a million times, are out of a Mustang, maybe. They appear to be that length. Out of a 57.5 long differential. So after talking to Mosier, after talking to Hensel's Garage, my buddy Dennis, we've came up to the conclusion on how to fix this so I can give it a try. I want to try this 410 gear and see what the RPM range is at about 60 miles an hour. It's probably going to be around $3,000, and I'm probably going to drop it to a 355. But I want to try it out. So with this calculations and these headaches and all this math that I hate, we can make it work, try it out after this Pistons Power Show. And then we should have the proper axles then. So, measuring from the landing race of the axle bearing to the pin in the center is 26 inches and 9/16 for the passenger side axle. The axle, when you measure that, is 26 7/8. So I need roughly a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch without the axle hitting the pin. A couple of buddies told me I need 1/8. Mosier says a 1/16. Hensel's Garage says a 1/16. So if I do my hillbilly math right and chop off it a 1/16, that makes it 26.5. 26.5 is 4/8. 4/8 from 7/8 is 3/8. I got to cut off that axle. Same thing with the driver's axle. It is 26 and 9/16. Take away a 16th, and that knocks it down to 22 and a half. So I got to take 3/8 off of that one. Mosier and Hensel's Garage both said I need 5/8 inch of engagement. My friend Dennis and a couple other buddies I talked to said I need a minimum of 1 inch. So, after doing all the measurements, and online they say you need it to be the thickness of the axle. My axle is 1 inch around. I will have 1 1/4 inches of spline engagement after I cut off 3/8 of an inch. So, that'll give me enough for it to work. It'll probably break an axle. It may not. I'm only running a skinny tire, so it's not going to get a lot of traction most likely, but it might eventually. So, we got a 411 in there now with a spool. I have a locker for it, but I want to see what this 411 does on the highway. So we're going to clean all that up, cut the axles, do new seals and bearings, paint the rear end, and install it back in the car. And test it like that while we wait for the 355 gear and the axles. They'll both be here before the Pistons Power Show, but I won't have time to put them in. Plus, I want to drive it and see how it does, just in case I want to get a 411 gear. Second thought, I'll probably hold off on the gear. But that's the plan, and that's what we're going to try to accomplish. In between Axlegate last night, we got the rear shocks are installed, trans cooler is installed, and the battery switch is installed. That's about it. And then we started measuring the axle, trying to figure this thing out, and it was a pain in the ass. So let's go look, and I'll do some more explanation over there. Okay, here's our axle debacle. This is the driver's side axle. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a groove worn in it where it was hitting the pin. And there is a mark on the pin. So this axle is way too long. When I tore it apart, the backing plates were wobbly, really bad. And I just thought the bolts were loose. Well, it turns out it wasn't tight. And that's why everything was packed full of red silicone. And these little retainers are bent to shit. Both sides. So when you come over here to this side, this one's got a wear in it. And is bent to shit. So between that and needing to fix up some of these welds on this thing, that's where we are. So on the inside of the car, this is our little push to stop for our battery. You just push it, there's our switch, goes to off. Turn it back on. So now we just got to run our cables inside of the trunk. Then when you come in here, down under here in this nightmare, there's our two rear shocks hanging down, and there's where our training cooler is going to be. It will miss the rear end. It's not in the way of anything. Here's our shocks in the floor. They're kind of wobbly, but they're in there. So now we can start running the battery cables and the training lines to the back and the fuel lines. So we're going to get to work on that. We got a shit ton of a mess to clean up now that we figured this thing out and know what we're doing. We got to put a ground stud in there somewhere. And get back on this turd. With that being said, I'm going to get to work, do some cleaning up, start running tranny lines and battery lines, I believe, down this side. I want to paint the leaf springs. I'm just going to wire wheel them, give them a little quickie paint job. Then tomorrow, I can cut the shackles how I want and put them back in. And I now have the leaf springs in. I got new bolts for the shackles. I got to get new bolts for the front of the leaf spring. Okay, so it's Saturday morning. Here's our list we're going to do. Hopefully, maybe, probably not, none of it. Tranny cooler lines, the alternator line and battery line to the back of the car. Fuel line and brake line to the back of the car. O2 sensor line, vacuum to the tranny, temperature to the tranny. The main fuse. The battery cable to the battery switch. Hook up the other cable underneath to the battery switch. Hook up the main fuse, fuel filter, and a ground. We're running out of time to only do half a list, so we got to bust our ass and get this fat ass moving. So let's go. So over here, we started our tranny cooler lines. This goes into the transmission. This is the adapter, and this is the line. I'm going to run this line to the back of the car, over to the cooler, have a little small hose connection back there. Hopefully it all works out good. Might want to put a little hose connection shortly after the transmission, just for when it wiggles. But if it wiggles too much, it's just going to break. So I'm guessing we'll be okay. We got some of these little zip tie magnetic holders we're going to use to hold the line along the bottom of the car until we do our permanent mounts. But these will make good mock-up. Just zip tie the line to them and it'll stay in place while you figure out how you're running everything. Well, it's Sunday. Here's our same list as Saturday. Saturday didn't go so well. New week, new me. Let's try to be better. We got to put some hose in these tranny lines. I bent lines and made them solid. And if the car engine, anything shakes, it's just going to snap them off. And I'm not buying $400 or $500 worth of braided stainless steel super connectors. I'm using 3/8 hard steel line with 2 little pieces of hose hooked to the transmission and 2 little pieces of hose hooked to the cooler. And I think it'll work out much better than solid line all the way back. So that's what we're going to do. We got some fittings. Let's get this show on the road. So today we're starting on interior. It is Wednesday. Monday, this time change threw me off a touch. I slept in. Tuesday, had to go to work at 5 a.m. for a meeting. So for today's starters, we're going to watch Bagels attack the car. I don't know what the hell she's looking for. If there's a mouse in this goddamn thing, Grandpa Gus's ain't doing its job. But I don't think there's a mouse. She's just scared because it's a car. So we're going to start with the headliner and work our way to the carpet. Rear package tray, rear window, all that good stuff. Alright. And we're going to use some Chemical Guys Hydro Shield. And again, this stuff could just be a gimmick, but it really does good on keeping the stuff from sticking. So this is what we used on the headliner. First we used simple green, then we did that. We did from the middle of the car, basically the dome light, forward. There was a few little stains from my fat greasy fingers. Now we're going to do the dash And I'm not trying to do anything crazy with it. I'm just using some Chemical Guys Total Interior Cleaner, dash glass, navigation. This is more or less for a modern car with plastic dash. But it does a good job of getting all the lint and stuff. And if there's anything gross, I'll use Simple Green on it first, just to make sure there's nothing slimy and disgusting on it. Sneezes, boogers, I don't know what the hell can be on there. I have a wife. The whole car's inundated with lipstick and lotion. And hand lotion is the nastiest shit in the world. So we're going to wipe the dash down with Simple Green. Then we're going to use some of this. Very worst thing about having a car on air ride or a lowered car. As you get older, getting in and out of this thing sucks ass. So let's see what we can do. And it's inundated with stupidity. Sprite pop bottle for a shift knob. I made this years ago, like 15, 16 years ago. When we first did the car. We got this bottle at Summit Racing. We bought a little Sprite one day when we went up there. I filled it up with that. Oh, I forget what it's called. But first I drilled a hole all the way through it. Stuck a 1/4-20 or 5/16 bolt in the bottom with a big flat washer to hold this thing on. Then I filled this with that expandable foam in a can, aerosol can, and just left the lid off. Then I trimmed it. Then I imagine if I was really good, I could have tapped this and did this much better, but I didn't. I just drilled it and shoved some set screws in it, and it's been on there ever since. This was supposed to be our kind of rat rod type car. Just don't give a shit and have fun. And just like everything else we do, we got a little excessive on junk. It's got all your gauges, huge air horn, a bunch of goofy, stupid shit under it, and on it. Small block Ford oil pan. Bunch of dumb stickers. Of course, we had Chewy, our guy who does all our pinstriping and stuff. He pinstriped on the dash probably 15 or 16 years ago. There's been different variations of pinstriping on the outside over the years, but nothing crazy. Got this swap meet find last year. The wife liked the green. The car no longer has a V8. It's an inline 6-cylinder. But it is what it is. It's got a huge air horn and a million neon lights and a bunch of stupid overkill accessories. And we'll get into those later. These are the original sun visors. We just peeled all the crap off of them. That's about all I can tell you about this turd. And my wife has an, I don't know what you call, obsession with ashtrays, even though nobody in our house smokes. But she really likes ashtrays and compasses. Alright, let's wipe this off. So, when I talk about the cars coated with lotion and boogers, to me, this is the booger part. Not like boogers from your nose. But this is just a aluminum pop bottle. This is the rag. It's all wet with Simple Green. Slimy. And look. It's stuck there. I'm pulling on it. I mean, it'll come off, but it's pretty stuck for a wet rag. That's all that lotion booger stuff. Feels like I'm wiping 90 grit sandpaper or something. Listen to that. But it's all that lotion stuck on it from the wife. As I wipe it off with this Simple Green, even the green comes back. It gets all the lotion off of it, cleans it up some, and it's slippery again. Look at that, the rag don't stick no more. That lotion, I'm telling you, if your wife wears lotion on her hands, it is nasty stuff. Alright, dashboard is done. So, I never used Simple Green to try to clean anything before. It does really good. I'm kind of impressed. I don't know if it's... I wouldn't put it on nothing too snazzy. Then, like I said, I rub it with this stuff. This stuff doesn't clean worth a shit. I don't know why it says it's a cleaner protector. I don't know what's in it. It doesn't really leave it shiny like Armor All does or nothing. But a lot of these traditional style type car shows we go to, you end up in a dirt parking lot, a field. It's usually dusty, muddy. And I've noticed over the years, when I put something on here, when I go to a show and it's all dusty, I can just take a paper towel or something and wipe the dust off. I don't have to scrub. I don't have to do nothing. Just wipe it off. When I used to just use Armor All or something like that, it would just... the dust kind of clung to it and you couldn't just wipe it off. So that's why I chose to use this stuff. And it doesn't do bad for the, like I said, the dust. And just wiping things off. If you go to Dragway 42 to the Rockin' Race, everything, your car, if you have the windows down, inside and out, is brown with dust and dirt. And to me, the worst thing in the world is going to a car show and the guy has all the windows up. Or driving around with air conditioning on and the windows up. I hate that. It's an old car. Put the windows down and enjoy it. Alright. This morning, we're going to do some more Fairlane work. Before work, we're going to get all this shit out of here. We're going to do the package tray and the back half of the headliner. Maybe the back window if we have time. That little TV tray's got to come out. So let's get on it. So this is tough stuff. This is what I use on the upholstery part. I do spray it with some Chemical Guys stain stopper type stuff. We'll see that. But right now I'm going to clean the package tray and the back seat. I'm going to start off with the package tray. Then I'll do something with the Tilted emblem and the Gene Winfield emblem. That goes in the back. But now we're going to do the package tray. Then we'll get on those. And we'll see what's going on with the rest of it. This stuff you can get carried away with very easily. I spray it on a towel. Spray it on a brush. Whatever you're using. I did the back window on the inside. So if I spray it all over the package tray. Then it gets on the window. And then it defeated the purpose of cleaning the window. Alright, this is our Gene Winfield cast aluminum thing she wanted in the back. I think I'm going to change this color to match the car more. Then I'm going to take some of this and clean up her lowrider metal tag thing. This car's got a lot of doodads. That ain't chrome. That ain't a real metal laser cutout doodad. I'll explain that when I go inside. But spray some of this. This is just some quick detailer. Hopefully it'll keep that sort of nice. I'm going to put a heavy coat on there. So we're going to spray the snot out of that. There's little Miss Bagels. She's been in and out of the car helping. So the item I'm talking about, as I get my fat ass in this piece of junk, is this thing. And I'll go on the outside and show you the back side. We have a guy we've used multiple times to cut metal for us. I guess he uses like a plasma table thing. So he cut this for me. And this little thing is just a piece of galvanized metal that I polished the snot out of. Best of my ability. Sanded, polished. It's not clear coated. It's not anything. She wanted one of them fancy plates like all the lowrider guys have. Club tags or whatever you call it. Them bad boys are expensive to have one made. So we made our own, and that's kind of what it looks like. And it fits the motif of this car perfectly. So it's been in there a few years, and I just rub it down. There's Bagels checking it out, see if we did a good job. And now we're gonna clean the back seat. Now it looks like we got a spot of something in the package tray already. So let's get that and clean the back seat. The back seat, the package tray, headliner, back of the front seat. Once the tough stuff kind of dries, tomorrow we'll put some protectant on there. And then we'll do the front of the front seat. And then we'll do these door panels and windows, and then hopefully we'll turn this thing around this weekend and do the other side. And hopefully we'll start getting some nice days and we can do the trunk lid area. Bagels is cleaning out under the seats. She said it looks good. Sonic's over there supervising. He said we're nuts. But it is what it is, and this is how it is. So we're going to clean up that thing. We're going to go inside. We did enough for today. Got to get ready to go to work. The Magic Duo's checking it out, making sure everything is good in there. Sniffing the cleaning products and stuff. So, on to the next part. Alright, it's Saturday morning. Here's a list. We got a big list. 23 items. The wife wants to go shopping Sunday afternoon, and I told her unless I get all of these done, we ain't going shopping. So we're going to get started. This week's been a real crappy week. It's been a fat guy rolling around trying to figure out an 8-inch Ford rear end. I finally got some axles ordered. Got a little bit of it figured out. What a pile. Figured out what we're doing, and I think it'll be okay now. So we're going to get back to work. Start buttoning this car up, getting it ready. So the first thing we're going to do is paint her plaque with this stuff and see what it does. We're trying some plastic dip stuff here. We'll see what it does. I think I used this stuff before. I don't remember where I got it. Wow. It's a good color. So this is some plastic dip shit that all the hipster doofuses use. We're going to try it on this thing. Well, so far it's garbage. Is it old? Not shaken up enough? Or is that how it goes? Good God. So far, I am not a fan. I think my plastic dip is no good. We'll find out here. We'll give that a second coat in a little while. And see what it does. But so far that is shitsville. The inside looks good. The outer edge looks terrible. We might be able to do something with that. I don't know. This is some thick, nasty shit. I can tell you that. Let's let that dry a little bit and we'll try it again. That's terrible. So far, our little plaque is shitsville. I'm not happy with it. We're going to let that dry probably for a month and see how it is. Alright. We got the little panel for the wife primered. We'll paint that blue. That'll be later. I think we're going to fix that funky spot in the headliner that I don't like. It is in the back, right there on that pillar. There's a spot I don't like. I'm going to fix that up real quick, I believe. Move on to something else. I'm just going to re-glue it and stick it down and let it set up for a while. We got her panel painted. Getting some things done on a Falcon here. We got our headliner doctored up how we wanted it. We got our window cranks in. And we got our other plate painted. We do have the fuel line, or the transmission line clamps on. We got one more to do. Then we got to do the rear clamps. We got the sensor for the fans. That is in. We tightened up the bolts on the front fender that we left loose. Alright, time to get back to work and get some more shit done. Alright, so this is where we are. This is what we got done. This is what we got to still get done. We had lunch with Jill. Went to some kind of Amish wholesale club or surplus club. But up under the car, way up under the car here, we have a lot done. We got our fuel line ran. Okay, up under the car. We got our transmission cooler all figured out. We're doing our fuel. Here's our fuel line. Brake hose. All the transmission and battery cables. Grounds, everything under here is done. One leaf spring is in. It's all the way up to the front. We're working on the fuel sender now. And if these magnets don't pass, we got enough hose and some extra fittings. We can move it over here and clamp it along here once we get the shackle in, but I'd rather have it up out of the way of the shackle. So that's how I did it for now. That's a boogered up mess. I'm not sure what that is. Looks like a rust hole somebody patched. But that's where we are. We just soldered a bolt in the end of the fuel pickup so we can plug that off. Okay, so over here, we got 9 items left to go. Hopefully we can have these done by noon tomorrow. We gotta finish the fuel gauge assembly. We have to put the rear end housing, set it in. We gotta do something with the ladder bars, driver's side leaf spring. And we gotta paint the plates, T-bolts and backing plates on. We got to vacuum it and bolt the seat down on the inside. But it's coming. And this is enough for today. Alright, so this week we worked under the Falcon. Finished up the transmission, fuel lines, brake lines, that sort of stuff. Now we're having rear end problems. This rear end's a pile of junk. We're getting it straightened out though. We're in a time crunch, but hopefully we make it. We bought our trailer for the Drag and Drive event. Bought a Saturn. Sold a Saturn. Things are happening. I don't know if they're happening as fast as we need them to, but they're happening. We did some more cleaning up on the 63 Fairlane, known as Tilted. Hopefully we make it. We're busting our ass. It should be close. Would like to thank the people that do watch our stuff. People that comment. Hit the notification. Hit the bell. Hit all the buttons. Do what you need to do. Like and subscribe. Side Money Garage. Thanks.